Folks, there's one thing I will not deny, and that is conservative, right-wing media is as loud as ever. Of that, there is no doubt. But, and that's the caveat, but, is it being as accepted as ever? Rush Limbaugh used to be the shit for the right-wing conservatives. This guy was making money hand over fist. He had several, and I do mean hundreds, of radio stations that picked up his broadcast. He was making tons of money. But, as with all things, people started getting tired of his act. And radio stations across the country basically started dropping his particular show. But not being stupid, he decided to go to XM Radio and signed a mega deal with them before all the handwriting was on the wall. So he still has his daily show that he rants and raves. His partner in crime, Mr. Infowars, has his radio show, and he also has, obviously, his website where he rants and raves, you know, his conspiracy bullshit. Sean Hannity used to be huge as far as the radio market was concerned, and tons of radio markets dropped him. Now, he still has a rather substantial following, especially here in Texas, which I don't understand how they take a white New Yorker and embrace him as much as they do down here in Texas. But again, that has to do with the ideology. So, you know, it is what it is. But now shoes are starting to drop. Mr. Bill O'Reilly is starting to be walked away from, and in a major way. It was announced yesterday that Mercedes-Benz and Hyundai are pulling all of their advertising from his show amid sexual harassment accusations. And trust me, folks, some of those accusations are more than just accusations, they're real. Now, if you're not aware, Fox basically has paid off a bunch of women to the tune of over $13 million in settling the sexual harassment accusations. Some of them were against Mr. O'Reilly, and some of them were against Mr. Ailes. And if you get the details, which I got a few of them, some of these things are like hair-raising. You talk about sexual deviance, these guys should write books. Well, in the previous sexual accusations against Mr. Ailes, he quote-unquote came out and denied them. But they were settled, as I stated earlier, for millions of dollars. And in the case of Mr. O'Reilly, he did the same thing. And then he went on previously and made the bullshit claim that he had not been cited once over 20 years in their HR department. But for anybody who knows anything about HR departments, as soon as you open your mouth and make a claim, you are history. It's either you or the person. Now, if you got, 4 or 5 different people making the same claim, there's strength in numbers, and they normally will deal with the person who is actually doing the harassment. But if it's one person at a time, that person normally gets kicked to the curb, and the word gets out. If you screw around with a particular person, i.e. blowing a whistle on them, you're gone. Well, after yesterday's revelation on mainstream media, Mr. O'Reilly, for some reason, was strangely silent. I know this because I immediately went to Fox News and taped his show, and I hate to say it, I watched the whole damn show in its entirety, and you know, I cannot really stand Fox, but I had to watch to see if he was going to make any type of a statement, and he didn't. The other thing that you probably may not be aware of, Fox News is under state investigation for security violations. The violations that they are under investigation are because they did not reveal all of the settlements that they made to these women on these sexual harassment suits. And that, my friends, could let somebody in the pokey, in particular Mr. Bill Isles. So we will see if this is not just the beginning, but a major ramp up of various sponsors pulling back away from Mr. O'Reilly and Fox News. We can only hope.